Hey everyone, welcome to This Prepared Life. I'm Allison, and today we are going to be talking about emergency evacuation kits. So we're going to talk about 5 questions that you can ask yourself as you are planning your own emergency evacuation kits. And I'm also going to share some items that you might not have thought of. So stay tuned. So I have a pretty practical approach to our emergency evacuation kits here on the homestead. We actually use these totes that you're seeing right here. We do have bags as well, but these totes are our main evacuation kits. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later. But an evacuation kit is essentially 24 to 72 hours of the items you might need in an emergency. And you have probably heard these referred to as go bags, as 72-hour kits. There are so many names. So use whatever name you like. But in this video, we are going to refer to them as evacuation kits. Having an emergency evacuation kit allows you to be proactive and not reactive in an emergency. When an emergency is happening, that is not the time to be scrambling around looking for the things that you need to take with you. When that sheriff is at your door saying, go now, that is not the time to be trying to find your important documents, your husband's medication because he's not home, or wondering where the dog crate is because Fido is barking at your feet and getting in the way. Have a plan and know where these things are so that when an emergency happens, you can be a little less stressed. In addition to having emergency kits packed with some of the supplies my family might need, we also have a written evacuation plan that goes with our kits that are ready. So have a plan before you need it because emergencies are stressful enough. Don't add to it. So like I said earlier, we use bins, these black and yellow storage bins. We get ours at Costco. Sometimes I joke, are you even a prepper if you don't have some of these storage bins? But we use these bins rather than bags for our main evacuation kits. And the reason for that is it is really easy for whichever family member happens to be home if we had an evacuation to grab the go now kits that I have labeled, toss them in whatever car vehicle is here at the time and leave. So we keep our kits in a easily accessible designated location that any of my family members, and we have teenagers, so almost everyone is driving. Everyone will know where they are, can put them in a car and go as needed. One of the things that I like to do is plan for our most likely. And here in North Idaho, where we live, our most likely evacuation scenario is going to be a wildfire, a forest fire, a situation like that. So our kits and our plans reflect that scenario. The good thing about scenarios and the needs of the people in your family is that those needs tend to cross almost all areas. You are always going to need food. You are always going to need water. You are always going to need shelter. You are always going to need first aid items. So a lot of these things will carry over no matter the scenario. But I do plan for our most likely. And in addition to our Go Now kits, which contain 72 hours worth of stuff for my family, we also have kits packed with extra supplies. And these are in case we had an emergency evacuation that was a little more planned. Maybe it was you don't need to go now, but be prepared to go evacuation. And so that would allow us to pack our car ahead of time and gives us more warning to load up animals, pack up the car, gather items that we might want to bring but are currently being used in the house, and also to pack things like family heirlooms or items that are important to individual family members. So in addition to these supplies that we have packed and ready to go, we also have an evacuation to-do list and a last minute checklist. So in an emergency where we had a little more time to load up our car, we can go through our to-do list and check off the things that need done. And our to-do list is listed in order of importance. So if that evacuation changed to go now, the most important items would be done. So both of those are actually printables in June's content, June 2023, in this Prepared Life membership community. So if you want access to that, head over to my website. I mentioned earlier, most likely. And so I want to talk a little bit about that. Our most likely situation, like I said, is a wildfire. And thinking through that scenario, I think about, okay, well, where are we going to be? And the number one most likely is we're going to be in a hotel. We're not grabbing our evac kits when a wildfire happens and heading out into the national forest. That's just not our most likely. Is that scenario possible? Absolutely. And it depends on how tight you wear your tinfoil hat. So I wear my tinfoil hat proudly here, but we are talking about most likely right now. So most likely, number one, we're going to be in a hotel. We have hotels identified and pre-programmed the information into our cell phones and written down so that we are not scrambling in an emergency, wondering which hotel we want to stay at. Number two, we're going to be with a family member or a friend. Number three, maybe we would end up at a campground. Number four, say the campgrounds are all full. We have ended up at like a fairgrounds or a situation like that. A lot of times here in North Idaho, a wildfire happens. They're opening up the fairgrounds for people with livestock or people with nowhere to go. So, and I know a lot of rural communities do that as well. So that is a possibility. Worst case scenario, we're in our car. And that's not the best scenario. Do we want that to happen? No, but we do plan for it. We plan for all of those possibilities in our emergency kits and our plans. So our kits are just items to get us through. It's food and water. It's clothing. It's first aid items. It's the things that our family is going to need in 24 to 72 hours. And we add to that things like camping supplies, sleeping supplies, cooking supplies, things like that. So you need to think through your family and your most likely, and what are the things you are going to need to be doing to feed your family, to clothe your family, to bathe your family, and plan accordingly for that. We can't plan when we might be evacuated, but we can plan that it might happen and ensure that the needs of our people are met. So let's go through 5 questions that you can ask yourself as you are planning your own emergency kit. Question number 1 is who is evacuating? And this is an important question because your who is going to differ from my who, and that means the items that we pack might be different. If you have a toddler, you're going to be packing much different items than I am because all of my kids are teenagers or adults. If you have an elderly family member, you are going to be packing different items than someone who doesn't have an elderly family member. So look at your who, write down each person, make a list of their specific needs. Question number 2, what are their needs? So be super detailed here. Do they have specific medical needs or dietary conditions, things like that? Next to all those people you wrote down and their needs, go into specific detail about those. Question number 3. When is this happening? Super important. You don't want snow pants and winter hats and gloves in your emergency kit when you're evacuated from a wildfire in July when it's 90 degrees outside. And vice versa. You don't want your summer evacuation items in your kit if for some reason you are evacuated in the middle of winter. So think about when, what season, what time of year this event might be happening and plan your kits accordingly. I suggest rotating your kits every 6 months so that the items in your kit match the season that your family might be in. Question number 4 is, where will we go? And we touched on this a little bit when I talked about our plans of where we will go. I said that we would either be at a hotel, a friend's or a family member's house, a campground, a fairgrounds type situation, or in our car. So where are you gonna go? Think about that and make sure that every driver in your family knows the plan. Question number 5. How will I accomplish the things that I need to do for my family? So, in the middle of a wildfire evacuation, your 5-year-old is still going to ask you, "Hey mom, what's for dinner?" It's still going to happen. Your kids, your family members will still have needs. You need to anticipate those. What are the things that you absolutely need to be able to do and accomplish for your family? How are you going to cook? Think through the different scenarios based on where you may be. How are you guys going to bathe? If this is an extended evacuation, how are you going to do things like laundry? How are you going to do basic hygiene in the morning? Things like that. So think through the parts of your day and ask yourself, in an emergency situation, which of these things am I still going to be doing, and how am I going to accomplish them where we might be at? So that's 5 questions. Next, let's jump into some items you may not have thought to pack in your emergency kits. Item number 1. To-do items for adults and kids. We often say, don't forget to pack items for your kids to do. What are we going to have to keep our kids busy in an evacuation? What about you? What about your husband? Items for adults to do are important too. We are going to have downtime as well. So maybe you're hacking your knitting or you're crocheting or you're tossing in a couple fiction books into your emergency evacuation kits. What are you going to do to help pass time? Because sometimes there's a lot of waiting in an emergency situation. So to-do items for adults as well as children. Item number 2, an extra phone charger. I know that in my house, we have phone chargers everywhere, and we have our phone charger in our car. So if we are evacuating and we are getting in our car, we always have that one in our car. But I'm not going to want to always have to go to my car to charge my phone. So have an extra phone charger, have a power brick that you can charge your phone with if you may not have electricity where you're going. Have some way to charge your devices. Toss an extra phone charger into your bag, into your bin. I know we have so many laying around the house. If I take one and toss it in here, it's probably not even going to be missed. So pack an extra one just to have it just in case. Item number 3 is pet supplies. And I'm not talking food, water bowl, leashes. We think about those things. I'm talking about more bathroom related items. With a dog, this is not so difficult. But if you are evacuating with a cat and you have checked into your hotel room, where is your cat going to go to the bathroom? Think about bathroom related supplies for your pets and pack the things that you might need so that you are not having to clean up messes. Item number 4, paper maps. What if you get your go now evacuation? You have packed your emergency kits into your car. You know the hotel you are going to, and you realize that you have left your phone sitting at home on the counter. You can't go back. You no longer have a navigation. Pack some paper maps for your local area into your bags or your evacuation kits just as a precaution. Item number 5, school and homeschool supplies. In the event that an evacuation becomes an extended evacuation, your kids are going to want some kind of normalcy to their routine. And if they are going to school, maybe have some notebooks, some school supplies, things like that, so that they aren't showing up with nothing and you aren't having to go out and buy them. If you homeschool, pack some items that your kids might be interested in, some books to read if your kids like workbooks, some games, some kind of activities so that you can add that piece of normalcy into their day. Kids typically thrive on routine and emergencies are so stressful. So what can we do to make that just a little bit more normal for them? And having that school time in their day or activities to do that might kind of break up the time can be really beneficial and helpful for children. Item number 6, written information. Let's go back to that scenario where you had your go now evacuation warning. You loaded your emergency kits into the car. You are packed and ready to go. And you realize you left your phone sitting on the kitchen counter. You can't go back for it now. Do you have the phone numbers that you need? Do you have the information that you need written down somewhere in your evacuation supplies? So I highly suggest making an emergency binder that you can grab and take with you. There are printables for that in June's content as well. But having these numbers written down is going to save you a lot of time if you did happen to lose your phone, leave your phone, or your phone was broken. So if you have ever evacuated, I would love to hear your tips. Head to the comments and leave a tip that you think would be helpful to those who are planning their own emergency evacuation kits. Thank you so much for watching today. Please hit that subscribe button if you would like more homestead preparedness content.